It all began in the early part of the 16th century, when Copernicus upset the world when he showed that the Earth is not the center of the universe. Earth actually revolved around the sun. Suddenly our planet seemed a little less significant. Then, Darwin shocked the world by showing ties between humans and the rest of the animal kingdom. Now humans seemed less significant. What this meant for psychology is that we can study animal behavior in order to make inferences about human behavior. This is known as comparative psychology. But how do we do this? How do we make inferences about human psychology by studying animals? One of the pioneers of comparative psychology is George Romans. In his studies of animal behavior, he used introspection by analogy. That is, Romans believed that you can make inferences about mental states and emotions by observing the animal. For example, if I see a dog that is slouched down with a long face, I attribute to the dog the human emotion, sadness. However, Romans was criticized for attributing higher-order human mental processes, such as reasoning, to animals. For instance, Romans reported a case where a cat opened up a door. Romans wrote, "First the animal must have observed that the door is opened by the hand grasping the handle and moving the latch. Next, she must reason by the logic of feelings. If a hand can do it, why not a paw? Then, strongly moved by this idea, she makes the first trial." Thus, this meant that the cat understood the logical relationships among events and used those ideas to reason her way through problems. Essentially, it means the cat learned how to open the door by the integration of ideas. The support for this theory consisted of anecdotal evidence and casual observation. Thorndike criticized Romans' theory, claiming that there is no solid evidence to support animal reasoning. And accordingly, he went on to test animals' reasoning abilities through the puzzle boxes. Thorndike put hungry cats in boxes that contained doors. The cats could open the doors by manipulating some device in the boxes. Thorndike typically placed food in view outside of the puzzle box and observed how the animal behaved. He also recorded the time that elapsed before the animal escaped. He repeated this procedure over and over and noted the change in animals' behavior and in escape times. Thorndike notes that a cat placed in such boxes typically tries to squeeze through any opening. It claws and bites at the bars or wires. The cat does not pay very much attention to the food outside, but seems to strive instinctively to escape. At first, the cat's behavior appeared to be random. Gradually, however, it became more orderly and efficient. Hence, in the beginning, the cat is clawing all over the box, and by random chance, the cat will claw at a button that opens up the door. After many trials, when put in the box, the cat will immediately claw at the button in a more definite way. Thorndike recorded the time it took each cat to escape for each trial in order to create a time curve. In the time curve shown, the x-axis is the number of trials, and the y-axis is the time it took to escape. So, what was Thorndike's conclusion? Thorndike claimed that the cats showed no evidence of reasoning. The change in the animal's behavior was gradual, not abrupt. The cat became more and more likely to press a button, and less likely to scratch at the slats. As you can see here, the change of time to escape throughout the trials gradually decreases. However, if the cat understood the relationship between the pressing of a button and the opening of a door, the time curve should show a sudden fall in escape times. Also, the cats show no sign of understanding the relationships between action and consequence. For example, a cat that had learned to escape a box by pulling on a loop would paw at the air even when the loop is no longer there. Hence, the cat would perform the necessary action without having the loop there. Moreover, Thorndike found that cats learned only if they performed the act themselves. For example, in some cases, Thorndike would put his hand through the top of the box, take the cat's paw, and with it pull the loop. Then the doors opens and the cat goes to eat the fish. However, the cat did not learn the association between pulling the loop and opening the door. Hence, the cat only learned when it performed the act. Thus, the idea of the act was not enough for the cat to learn the association. Thorndike proposed that animal learning has nothing to do with reasoning or the association of ideas. It occurs as a result of trial and accidental success. Thorndike theorized that a cat is innately equipped with various action impulses when placed in a box. For instance, it has the impulse to bite the bars and scratch at objects inside the box. However, if pulling a loop results in escaping from a box, the impulse to pull a loop is strengthened, and if the impulse to scratch at bars has not resulted in escape, the impulse is weakened. Hence, impulsive acts that lead to pleasure will increase in frequency, trial by trial, until eventually, when the cat is put into the specific box, it will immediately perform the act needed to escape. Thorndike's law of effect was the forerunner to the law of reinforcement. Hence, Thorndike's work directly influenced the later work of Skinner. It can be argued that Thorndike's dissertation was the beginning of experimental analysis of behavior. He helped establish comparative psychology as an experimental science, began a major shift in thinking about both animal and human learning, and provided important methodological innovations in behavioral research.